I hope it's done raining tonight.
Test, test. 1, 2, 3.
Hello? 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 Can you hear me now? Hello? Test, 1, 2, 3. There you go. I think the little amount of people, is that Mr. Shaw here?
Yeah.
What the hell's he doing home?
Test. Test.
You got like swallow.
Test. 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 Test.
Test, test, test. Test.
I've never done one of these, so I'm with the same boat you guys are in.
Oh, good. We're all in the same
Good
boat.
to know.
Cool.
He's done it, but I've never had a challenger.
Everyone stretch out so you don't pull a hammy.
Okay.
Can you guys all hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I told the group up here, really the focus of these questions tonight will be to help me with fantasy baseball advice for my draft this weekend. So,
That'll work.
hope you
A
study.
little late for a draft, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got 4 more drafts before opening day. Some say it's an addiction, and some is my wife. So it's the top of the hour, and we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Roger Weiss, and I'll be your moderator this evening. I want to welcome everyone in attendance and those observing on YouTube live to the C-1 Windsor Board Election Forum. Please note that all of those in attendance are following guidelines related to social distancing. Although the high school auditorium has capacity for 740 people, seating for only 100 people has been made available due to social distancing guidelines. The board election is scheduled for Tuesday, April 6, 2021. Tuesday, April 6, 2021. For those of you watching on YouTube Live, I want to thank you for joining, and pretty sure you got to show up in person to vote on Tuesday, April 6, 2021. There are 4 individuals running for 2 seats on the Windsor C-1 School District Board of Education. Of these 4 individuals, 2 are incumbents and 2 individuals are running for the first time. The following guidelines will be utilized this evening in order to provide an unbiased forum that will be informative for the voters, fair to each candidate, and pleasant for everyone involved. This will not be a debate or back and forth type of a format. Candidates will respond only to their question and will not comment or interrupt another candidate while others are speaking. All candidates are to conduct themselves professionally and with respect to all other candidates. The audience is not allowed to direct questions to the 4 participants or comment or interrupt any of the candidates during the forum. This forum will last approximately 60 minutes. Our timekeeper this evening will be Michelle Zack. Time limits will be enforced. The timekeeper will have signs to notify each of you when you have 30 seconds left and stop. These will be held up for the candidate to see at the appropriate times. Mrs. Zack is over there, and there's the signs. I know you can read them because I can read them. At this time, we're going to begin with opening statements. We'll begin alphabetically with Mr. Michael Dubus, followed by Mr. Charles Huey, Mr. Thomas Krupp, and Mr. Ryan Strong. We'll continue with this rotation throughout the questions. That said, Mr. Dubus.
Thank you, Roger. And thank you for everybody that's attending and those at home watching. We really appreciate you coming in and taking the time to get to know us. I've been on the Windsor School Board since 2009. In 2009, I joined thinking that there were certain agendas that needed to be met, and I was wrong. This is a great district. It had great building blocks, and I took the time to learn what the school board was about and what our job was, and went through and got my certified board members certificate. And over the years, we've grown into a great district. Not that we were in a bad situation, but we've grown into a really strong district. When I came in, we were below the recommended level for our reserves. We've since then come up to the recommended levels. We've also helped guide the district in a direction that has put us in the ability to put technology improvements in place and facility improvements in place without ever having to increase or with a no tax increase on our bond issues. District has been named best places to work by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Freer was a blue ribbon school. The district's our district's had several buildings that have been our buildings of character. And then we were actually one of 7 districts in the whole country to get the distinction of district of character. And these are all things that, being part of the board, we've been able to help guide and set policies in place to help us reach those goals. All the bond issues we've requested have been passed. And I believe that has a lot to do with the ability that we've had to build relationships with the parents of the districts, the patrons of the district, and that trust that's built there, I think has really grown over the years. And I'm really proud to be part of the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dubas. Next, we will hear, and I don't know if I mentioned, these opening statements can be up to 3 minutes long. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Charles Huey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the district for hosting this wonderful event. And to the people at home, thank you for tuning in to see how your district operates. My name is Charles Huey. I've lived in this district since 2009. I have my wife, Becky, and my 2 kids attend Windsor C-1 School District. I have been very active in the watchdog program here at the district when my son was over in the elementary, and my other son has started pre-K there, so I will be doing that as well again. The biggest thing that I have seen is how we come together as a community. This is one of the districts that we are very family oriented. We are very caring about our people in our districts. That was the main reason I decided to run. After talking to many of the school board members, I've attended the school board functions and things, and I believe they've done an excellent job. And I commend both these men up here for their job as the school board members and representing our district. But I believe it's time that we start looking for a future leaders to help grow this community and grow this school. One of the big things that worries me is that during a pandemic that we've had for the first one in 102 years, that we have had to go to a virtual, and luckily went to 4 days and just 1 virtual. But I feel that we need to be in school 5 days a week because we're neglecting the mental health and the education of our students. And that was the main catalyst for me stepping forward and taking the leap to run for your school board. So I thank you for the opportunity to give my opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Next up, Mr. Thomas Krupp. Mr. Krupp.
Thank you. And thank you for all being here and those of you that are attending via YouTube. Again, my name is Tom Krupp, and I came to the district in 2002 when my wife and I moved here from Baldwin. We have 3 kids. Josh and Zach have already gone through all grades. They're at Mizzou right now. And then I have a freshman Jameson, who is the last one of my kids. But anyhow, I've been involved with the Windsor School District. I started off being the vice president of the Windsor Freer Parents Association. I did that for a couple years. Oh gosh, I can't remember how far back that goes. And then I became the president for about 2 or 3 years as well. I really enjoyed working with the kids and the other people involved with the Windsor Freer Parents Association. During that time, I got to know a lot of good people and saw how the district ran. Well, I decided then the Parent Teachers Association was kind of on its way down. Each of the other buildings decided to have their own parents group. So I saw a need for me to step up to something greater, which would have been a school board, since I'm not a teacher or anything else. So I couldn't get a job here. But being on the school board was a pretty good experience. I'm completing my second 3-year term, so 6 years. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being on the third term. Like I said, I echo a lot of things that Mike Dubus had mentioned. We've been on it together. We've accomplished a lot. I do like the challenges, even though there's really not a whole lot. The school district is a fantastic district, and it runs obviously not on its own, but we have a good superintendent, good administration, great teachers, and it's just a phenomenal place, and I'm happy to be a part of it, and that's why I'd like to stay to be a part of it.
Thank you, Mr. Crow. And finally, Mr. Ryan Strong.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for putting this on. I do appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate everyone coming out to participate and share their views. Thank you. My main reason for coming to run for the board is to help out. I think the school is run well, and I'd only like to improve it, further the communication from the board and the school to the students and the faculty and community. And really, that's my point, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Strong. We'll now move into the questions. There will be 4 questions. The first question, each of you will have 4 minutes to answer, and then we will move on. And we're going to go in the same order again, in alphabetical order. So, Mr. Dubus, you will be first. And I'm happy to repeat the question as we move through because I might forget it myself. Mr. Dubus, please describe your current and past involvement with the district or any of its schools. For example, parent-teacher activities, committees, booster clubs, board meetings, etc.
Currently, I am on the school board. Like I said, I've been on since 2009. I'm hoping to get my 5th term. In the past, I've never actively joined any individual club. When the concession stand needs, or when the boosters need someone at the concession stand, I help out at the concession stands. When the class of 2021, I've been the float dad for the past couple years for the class float. They've built it over at my house, and we've stayed up the late nights helping the kids design and build their projects safely. I've got 7 children that have gone through the district, have always been available for the field trips as one of the parents to go on the field trips with them. I volunteered as room parent. My schedule allowed me to have the afternoons off to do the Valentine's Day parties and the Halloween parties and things like that. So I've been active with my children's classes with those. Cub Scouts being, gathering here, but through the Cub Scouts, when my son was a Cub Scout, we would do the Pinewood Derby parties at my house, bring all the kids over. I've got woodworking tools. That's one of my hobbies. So we'd, show the Cub Scouts how to do that. So I've tried to be active in my children's lives. And in turn, I think it's a good chance for us to help other children too. You know, if you take that time to help teach them the little things. There's nothing more fun than a kindergarten class and a child walks up and asks you how you got that scar on your arm, and you spend the next 20 minutes showing them the next, 15 scars and giving them the stories and watching their eyes light up, and there's something, that connection. So those are some of the things I've done in the district. Other things I've done, not child related, but parents. A lot of times when the parents will come to us as board members, they're looking for someone to help guide them. They want answers, but that's our chance as a board member to remind them that there's a chain of command that you send people to. You know, the board's not here to micromanage the district. So we're there, to guide parents and guide adults to find the right direction, who they need to go speak with, things like that. So that pretty much wraps up my involvement. And then, like I said, of course, the years of service on the board.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Huey, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, sir, I have the question. Thank you.
Okay.
My involvement with the Windsor District has been through Freer as being a room parent when my child was going through, as he has special needs, and helping out with the special ed classes when they had Halloween parties, Valentine parties, and anything that they needed when they went to the pumpkin patches or anything, because like Mr. Dubin, my work allowed me to be able to do that. I also volunteered with our Watchdog program at Windsor Elementary. I was there once a month, every month for school. It's a wonderful experience to be able to help a child learn how to do a mathematical problem or learn how to spell a word, and they get excited to see it. That's just a fulfillment that you enjoy as not only a parent teaching your own children, but being able to be that guiding force in a child's education. I helped out with the Special Olympics for Greater St. Louis by doing the polar plunge and everything like that. The special ed classes are a focal point that I enjoy helping with and have been with this district, just because my son has special needs, and I think that has enlightened me on how valuable it is to see how we teach our children to not only learn but also act towards one another. And that's a big part of this district, is we teach them to have the respect for others. My involvement has been limited because of my children being in the district and being so young, but there is no doubt that I will be enjoying doing anything for this district in the long term. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Moving on, Mr. Krupp.
Repeat the question, please.
I shall indeed. Please describe your current and past involvement with the district or any of its schools. For example, parent-teachers activities, committees, booster clubs, board meetings, etc.
Well, thank you. Obviously, I have been on the school board for 6 years, thoroughly enjoyed it, all facets of meeting once, sometimes twice a month, getting certified, continuing ed in school board knowledge. Prior to that, being involved was the other major part of my life here at Windsor was a WFPA, which was a fantastic thing. Me and my cohorts on the WFPA, we'd put on the parade and the picnic. I really enjoyed doing the parade. It was a fantastic time. It was the only time I could actually tell the cops what to do, so I enjoyed that a lot. The school picnic was great, a lot of hard work, but we put it on. In fact, I kind of miss it and thought maybe I might try to bring it up from the fire. But I also did the Watchdog for a year. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Watchdog, it was just dads would come at lunchtime most of the time and just kind of visit with the kids and stuff and just have father figures around. At the time, unfortunately, it was after, I think, some massive school shootings, and I thought maybe just having some older adults around would calm the kids a little bit, which I think it helped. We just kind of walk around and be with them. I also did, and I forgot the name of the program, over at Freer, a couple years where you'd go and help tutor and read to you'd be one-on-one with the kids. So I did that for a couple years for like 3-4 months at a time. Like Mike, I volunteered in the concession stands whenever they had them going. I enjoyed doing that. Field days, the WFPA always provided the ice cream and stuff afterwards. So I've been pretty busy. I enjoyed doing the volunteering and things. I think that's just part of being, it's our responsibility to be involved. So that's pretty much it.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Krupp. And finally, Mr. Strong, would you like me to repeat the question?
No, thank you. I started out in Cub Scouts at Freer Elementary, and we were active in that until we moved to the Troop 416 here at the middle school, and did an occasional class party. Had the opportunity to demonstrate to one of the classes a DNA project where the kids could extract the DNA out of the strawberries, and I've really enjoyed my time working with the students. It's always rewarding to see the children grow and learn something from your presence and your activity. And I would also like to see the school carnival come back, so I encourage you on that. We, as Scouts, had that as a large fundraiser, and we do miss it. So thank you for that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your involvement in the district. I know that the pay for volunteer positions isn't very good, and it sure takes a lot of your time, and I just want to thank you from the community for being willing to volunteer in various activities and step up to be willing to serve on the school board. Moving on, we're going to throw it a little twist here with the second question. In this basket, I've had 4 different questions placed, and I will draw one question and read it to you, so you'll each get a different question. On this, you will have 4 minutes to respond. Mr. Dubus, you're first. What is your perception of the Windsor National Education Association, WNEA, its current role and relationship with the district?
I believe the WNEA has a very strong relationship with the board and district at this time. We collaborate well. I think the open and honest discussions we have kept everything transparent. The NEA, our WNEA has never come to us with any request that was just what you would consider nonsense. I mean, everything they come to us with is a true concern. They don't drag up non-essential items, and I think that they know by us communicating with them, us being open and honest with them about where we are in the district, and them being honest with us, we've built a great relationship. I've been part of the TAB process with them in the past. We've had very good open discussion. We try and take care of our teachers. We're up on salary schedule. We've had times where things were tight, and we've had to maybe not give the pay raises, and we've come back afterwards, and when the finances were back in order, we've turned around and caught back up with them. I think we've got a great relationship, and I'm also a strong proponent of the organized labor. I was a shop steward for 148 operating engineers. Spent 3 years as a shop steward, inside, at the time it was Union Electric, now Ameren. So I understand the power of a bargaining unit. I understand the rights that they deserve. I understand that they do deserve due process when there's something brought against them. So these are all things that I think my understanding of those help me have a better understanding of the WNEA. And I'm proud to say that I've received their endorsement. I'm very proud of that. They are wonderful people, and I know that they're well respected in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Dubus. Next, Mr. Huey. How would you handle situations that arise outside of board meetings or official school events when you are approached by community members about potential problems or situations?
My current position at my employment is I'm a sergeant for the Department of Corrections. So every day I handle situations that come up as maybe a crisis or what they consider to be a crisis. Being CIT certified and knowing how to handle different avenues, understanding of people's personalities, my way of doing it is that there's a time and place for it. I would have the parent, teacher, or whoever in the community have a private discussion where this is not in public. If they want to have it in public, that's their choice. But I think it can be handled as an adult and with respect, and show our children the Windsor way that we do every day here at our district. If we show each other respect and show how we are getting our situation and explain it to the individual the way it has to be because of certain financial or economic reasons, then I believe that the person will understand it. There is no reason to be coarse with anybody. There's no reason to blow them off because we work for that taxpayer or parent or teacher. So my way of doing it is just to handle it the best I can at the time and address it with the school board members at a later date, saying that a parent came up to me with an issue, and we can handle it as a team. In this district, we've handled a lot of ups and downs as a team, and I believe that's been a benefit for our district. And I believe it's going to be a benefit in the long run. So there's no I in team. We've all been taught that. And I believe we can handle it that way.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Huey. Mr. Krupp.
Make it easy.
Who will win the National League Central this year?
Get out
You
of
said
here.
make it easy. Mr. Krupp, please explain the proper role of the Board of Education.
Oh, that is easy, because I did learn a lot in the 6 years that I've been on the school board. The proper role of the Board of Education is to guide and direct the superintendent. If you have a heck of a superintendent like we do, it's easy to do that. He brings, he's the CEO of Windsor, so he brings basically any kind of problems and suggestions to the school board. So the proper board, our function is to listen to him and guide him. Sometimes he guides us, and we collaborate, talk, and come up with the best solutions. Whether it's a parent or a child or a team or the face mask issue, the COVID's been trying, but we've discussed it thoroughly, and the superintendent's the resource to go to the lawyers and what are our options, but we discuss things. We don't really tell the superintendent what to do, but he's the one that's, we don't fire teachers, we don't suspend kids. That's the superintendent's job, but he comes to us for recommendations, and we all discuss it. But he does have to follow what we do recommend, but we're usually 99% of the time on the same playing field. So it's just learn, listen, and advise them. That's the role. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you. Well said. Mr. Strong. Anything on the National League Central, or?
I'll have to look into my fortune teller.
Very. What is your vision for the Windsor C-1 school district, and how can you help the district reach its goals?
Well, my vision for the district would be to expand the resources that the school has to the fullest extent. I too see that there's an issue with our community's health, and the school plays a large part in it. And I think that we should find a way to extend our resources to the community, to the parents of our students, so that we can help the students before an issue gets too big. I see parents that are having difficulties at school board meetings, and I know that it's not the role of the school board to interact with the parents. It's the role of the superintendent to handle those issues. And I know we have health resources that I think if we could extend that to the rest of the community, I think that would help us all. And I think also if we could communicate better to the parents and the students, if there's changes that are made, sometimes they aren't aware of them until they can't do anything about it to make a change for themselves. Their choices are eliminated by lack of communication. Those are big issues that I have been running for.
Thank you. Well said. Moving on to question 3. Everyone will get the same question this time, and each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer it. 2 minutes is a long time, so take a deep breath, and plenty of time, I'm certain. Mr. Dubus, in your opinion, what is the greatest single challenge facing the Windsor C-1 school district?
This question's actually come up a couple times through different forums, but for me, and this actually hits home, is the mental health of the children, the emotional health of the children, and through friends of mine, the emotional and mental health of our staff. As for our children, children are social creatures. They need time together. When the country initially reacted to this COVID outbreak, everybody thought about, hey, we need to physically distance, we don't need to see each other, we need to get away from each other, that's the way we're going to beat this virus. And that's great for protecting everyone's physical being. But I don't think even the specialists, Fauci, all of them, could have imagined the impact on the emotional and the mental state of our children. That's a huge stress on them, and they don't know how to deal with it. And unfortunately, there weren't a lot of resources out there for parents to know how to deal with their kids going through this. Eating disorders are up, cutting disorders are up, suicides are up. These are all effects of the social distancing that was put in place. Once the board had a chance to reevaluate what was going on, the board made a decision that we needed to get the children back into class safely. That's the reason we went back to the 4-day, and that's going through, reevaluating your programs and everything so that you can get them approved to keep going. So I think for the children, we need to do that. But for our staff, you've got staff that have children of their own that they're trying to take care of, and they've got their families, and they're trying to take care of our children. So I think our biggest issue is to make sure that we keep our ears open to our staff and children and get them the resources they need to help deal with this until we can get back to normal.
Thank you.
you.
Mr. Huey, In your opinion, what is the greatest single challenge facing the Windsor C-1 school district?
To me, the biggest single challenge that we are facing is this pandemic that we're fighting head on now. We have 2,991 children in this district. We have map testing getting ready to start here after spring break, where we are now going to be lagging behind because in 2019 we were at 51% for math, 49% for English. My fear is that we have fallen behind because of this, and the students that are coming up needing scholarships to go to college for this district's median income is $53,000 just to go to Mizzou for one semester. It's well over the 100,000 mark. They need these scholarships just to be able to go and better themselves in the community. And while we sat there and we went to 4 days, we need to be in class full time to make sure these students are getting the education they need and that they can get the scholarships that they need. We're dealing with not only the mental health aspect, but we're sending kids off. Thanks to the USDA, we're getting those funds to be given free lunches and being able to give kids lunches that were not in school on those days that we were off. But we have kids that are being abused, and we have our teaching staff that can't recognize that abuse. It's going unnoticed. So we're losing kids through the cracks. My whole thing is I don't want to see a child left behind. I don't want to see a child harmed in any manner. And I don't think anybody on this panel or in this board wants it either. But we need to fight the pandemic together, and we need to get back to making these kids see what normal really is. And that's my whole goal in the coming years.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Mr. Krupp, you need the question again?
Sure.
Okay. You just like my voice.
Yes.
In your opinion, what is the greatest single challenge facing the Windsor C1 school district?
Single challenge, to me, it's apparent it's the budget. And the reason for that is at all our board meetings, our CPA reports to us money coming in, money going out. During all of our closed sessions, we talk about the money and all the other things that the other two gentlemen prior to me have talked about. But can't accomplish none of those things without a balanced budget. So we've been very good last few years as far as making it balanced. But there's formulas that we have to keep it within so we don't run into a shortfall or have to lay off teachers. And so far, we haven't had to do that in the 6 years that I've been on the school board. So the budget is forefront. It's a balancing act. You know, we never want to lay off teachers. We always want to give them the raises. Sometimes we haven't, but we've given them things at the end of the year that, you know, extra health insurance, things like that. But we've always done our due diligence with the budget. So I think the budget is the number one priority. You know, we can only do so much with the money, and I think enrollment's going to go up with all the subdivisions. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things that we have to watch out for. And again, it's the budget. So,
Thank you.
And the central division is going to be the San Diego Padres. No, I'm just teasing.
Mr. Strong, while I recover from the San Diego Padres remark, let me read the question to you again just to recenter us. In your opinion, what is the greatest single challenge facing the Windsor C1 school district?
I think the district is challenged by how well it's doing. And we're happy with how well it's doing, but I think it can do better. And that's what I hope for. I think we can improve our curriculum. We can expand on programs that are available to train teachers to teach the state-funded programs, classes that are ready-made and can be taught by any teacher in STEM, can help students that are going to go on to college or going to go straight into the workforce. And I think that would really improve our district and our community to have well-educated people graduating from here. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the fourth and final question, again, you'll each have 2 minutes to answer this, and it is the same question to each of you. Mr. Dubus, you're back in the hot seat. Why should voters elect you to this position and list your goals if elected?
I would hope that voters would reelect me. I've got a strong record of what I've helped this district accomplish as part of the board. I've got strong ties to the community. I've raised 7 children in this district. I've many years ago, back in 1995, we bought into the district, and we've made it our forever home. We've done all our additions to our house. We don't plan on going anywhere, so we've planted ourselves in this community. I've got a son who's 30 years old now who started off in kindergarten with Windsor. I've got a my youngest one is now 13, and she's in Windsor. We've raised our family here. We've become part of the community, and I would never let anything happen at this district that would jeopardize the education that my children get. In turn, that's the same education your children get. And so I will work my hardest to make sure my children get everything they deserve, and in turn, everyone else's children will get what they deserve. And I think that we've been very good with balancing our budget, staying fiscally solvent, keeping our reserves up. And so that's the reason our bond issues pass, is because we are transparent with the community. We hold up our end of the bargain. They allow us to represent them. And so I think I will continue to do that if reelected. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Huey,
Yes, sir.
why should voters elect you to this position? List your goals if elected.
I believe that the voters in our district would benefit from electing me to the school board, because we're now looking forward to some new the leadership of tomorrow. The way I'm thinking is I want to see our students back in school full time. I want to see them being able to succeed in all MAP testing, all our standardized testing. I want to see this district become, again, a national blue ribbon school. I have 2 children that are in this district and will be graduating in 2030, 2035 from this district, because we're not going anywhere, as we are also planning. My wife and me love this district. We would do anything for it. I want to see our teachers become some of the best paid in our district, and also the substitute teaching deficit that we have. I want to see that resolved by inching those substitute teachers and getting them the money that they deserve for coming in here and helping our district as well. And I will be able to sit there and balance the budget, just like my 2 that are on the board now said. We have to balance the budget to make sure that we are transparent with the taxpayers and the parents of this district. My goal is that I work for the parents of the district and the students. I don't do it for myself, and I don't do it lightheartedly. I take the responsibility very seriously, and I ask for their votes on April 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huey. Mr. Krupp, why should voters elect you to this position? List your goals if elected.
Well, they should elect me for this position. I have 6 years of experience. I've been involved since 2002. I do love the district. I have a lot of great friendships. I think people do respect me. They get to know you after almost 20 years. as far as the goals, and I don't want to use the word status quo. We as a board have the ship in the right direction, and of course, you got to tweak it. Every month we're tweaking it to the benefit of teachers, the citizens, the staff, the students, but it is a good running machine right now, and it's been that way since I've been on the board for 6 years. We've never had no hurricanes to rock the ship, and I think it's because we've had good leadership already in place. Again, though, we do need to educate ourselves. Things change. COVID things taught us a lot. If it ever comes around again, we're going to know what to do and how to do it. I think we've done an amazing job. The teachers have, especially. They made our jobs a lot easier by adapting to this pandemic. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes wearing a mask, but it's something they've all done, So status quo with tweaking. It's just it's a great running machine here at Windsor. And thank you in advance for voting for me.
Thank you. Mr. Strong, why should voters elect you to this position and list your goals if elected?
You should vote for me. I'm a volunteer. Every chance I get, I'm out there volunteering. I want to raise the pay for the lower paid staff so that they're not looking to go to Target to get a better job. I want quality people to be in our schools and be happy and comfortable. And I want to communicate better from the board. It was said last night, it's almost always a 7-0 vote. Nobody really knows where the board members stand on any issue because they talk about it in private session. It would just be nice to at least hear somebody say, I like it for this reason, or I don't for this reason. But we never hear that. It is nice to have a short board meeting, but I would like to know a little bit more about what happens, and that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you all. At this time, I just want to take the opportunity to thank our candidates, Mr. Michael Dubas, Mr. Charles Huey, Mr. Thomas Krupp, and Mr. Ryan Strong for your participation in this evening's forum and for putting up with a boisterous moderator. Also, thank you everyone in attendance and those of you viewing through YouTube Live. I think we got a lot of good information. I myself gained a better understanding for a lot of the stuff that you talked about. When I was reading the questions, I thought, man, that's a good question. So, great questions, great insight, great reasons to want to serve in this volunteer position. This is a great community. It is a great district with great leadership. Please note that the election for these individuals will be, again, on Tuesday, April 6th. I want to thank you for your support in the Windsor C-1 School District, and everyone, please have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a
Thank you,
wonderful
Roger.
job.
Thank you, Mrs. Zach. Yes, he is. He is.